Welcome in, everybody, to Section 329, and you can take your seat. I'm Cayden, that's Jonathan, and the Atlanta Braves have been on an absolute heater since we've last talked to you. Jonathan, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a good couple weeks for our Braves, and it's good to watch. Good to see best record in the National League as of filming this, and it's fun right now, man. Everything seems to be working and clicking.
Well, not even just the National League, just best record in the majors, just
That's right.
absolutely trucking.
That's right.
So they've had a few injuries bite them in the past few weeks, but it seems that Raisel Iglesias avoided anything major. Michael Harris, that was a scare, but didn't miss any time. So the Braves have gotten very lucky so far, considering the amount of off-season and spring training injuries they had to deal with.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it because they went, and I want to make sure I get the number correct. So they had 14 straight games or 13 straight games against divisional opponents because it was 3-4-3. Yeah, so 3-4-3-3. So Phillies, Nats for 4, Phillies for 3, Marlins for 3. So 13 straight games against divisional opponents, and in that time they went 10-3, which absolutely will play against anyone, but when you're playing the division, it matters double as much.
That's right.
So I was very impressed. The Phillies, they did fire their manager today. I have been calling it now for a few days of just like, I think Rob Thompson's probably out in Philadelphia. I don't know how long the leash is on who even is the Mets manager at this point. Is it Mendoza
I
still?
think so.
Um,
Yeah, it
Carlos
should
Mendoza
be.
is still for New York. They change managers too often. It's I can't remember who is actually ever the skipper for the Mets. I think his time is very limited in New York unless they turn it around. So I mean, those are some cities that I don't want to be a bad coach or player in. Philadelphia, New York, and then Boston. If we add in Alex Cora already getting the hook, so
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. It's good to not have this conversation as Didier Fuentes comes into the game for Atlanta out of the bullpen. He got called up today, giving the Braves some help with Dylan Lee on the paternity leave. So, congratulations,
Congrats.
Dylan. 9 months exactly to the All Star break last year. Just if anyone is keeping score on him and Michael. Um, but I think the best place to start is just the Braves right now. Any metric you pick, they're basically first or second in the major leagues, or at least the National League, in hitting wise, pitching wise. That's bullpen ERA, starting ERA, their OPS plus OPS, their ERA against their hitters. Everything is coming up Braves except for the ABS challenge, which I still think is the second worst in, but maybe better than the Nationals. Which that series, the Nationals and the Braves, where the ABS challenges, that was kind of brutal to watch. Of just
Yeah,
it was
it was
just watching.
nonstop.
It was like watching a meth head and a crackhead fight in the parking lot of a Walmart. And
At least Ronald's starting to get a few right now.
I think he's not been bad to start the season. Like, let's be honest. We can talk about Ronald. Ronald has not been bad. He's just not been Acuna.
Right.
Um, he and the numbers still say I've actually got his Savant page pulled up. He is an average batter. He is actually a slightly above average base runner, and then a way below average fielder. Which to me, it feels just in terms of narrative that it's the opposite. That he's a average base runner at best. He's a below average fielder, or a below average hitter, but an above average um, fielder. Is how
Yeah.
it feels this season has gone, and
Mm-hmm.
the numbers just don't confirm the way you think about it. His line so far this season, I mean, a 239 average, a 356 on base percentage, 358 slugging, 714 OPS. His I just want to point out we're panicking on Ronald Acuna Jr. with him having a 714 OPS,
Yeah, pretty
which
crazy.
there are there are all-star caliber players who would not reach 714 for the entire season.
Oh yeah.
So that is a good sign. I mean, last year he was around 935, so it is definitely a regression. But if you look at his expected, well, we got to go down to get to expected OPS. But do we not actually have expected OPS as a stat savant? I'm kind of mad actually. You can't leave me on like that.
There
Um, okay, so we'll use WOBA. How about that? We'll use
you go.
WOBA. Is his WOBA this year is 326, and it's expected to be 387, which would put him right in line with where he was last year, and it would be better than some of his seasons in the first 5 or 6 years of his career. It's nowhere near 2023. Like,
No.
let's like he busted in 2023. That
Yeah.
Acuna, I hope is not. I hope that's not the last we've seen of that Ronald Acuna Jr. But he has only been that player twice in his career. It was 2021 and 2023.
Yep.
And the ACL injury has come and stopped him twice now. I think he's going to get better the more he plays this year because he doesn't have to worry about being stable. You can even see it in the field. He's so much more confident in jumping around and just running, sprinting to the ball. I think the bat will turn around. I'm not super worried about Acuna, and the rest of the lineup has given him the leniency and the wiggle room because they've been so good that he does have the time to figure it out.
Agreed. Well, you've even seen signs of tonight. The little bit of game started tonight. He's already got 2 doubles in a run.
Just so everyone's aware, we're filming this during the Tuesday night game, the Casey Mize versus Martin Perez, or Casey Mize and Javier Baez have both left early with an injury for Detroit. So hope both of them, the reports on them are nothing major, but neither of them looked very good when
Mm-mm.
they left the field. So
Hopefully, it's not a sign of things to come too.
yeah, so hopefully that's that. I hope Detroit is. I like the Tigers. I think they have a lot of fun players, as
Mm-hmm.
gets the strikeout in the inning. But speaking of Ronald, I think Ronald is showing signs of life. The problem is he's just not hitting. He's not hitting for as near as much power as you
Yeah.
would expect. Basically, a hit a game player so far through the season. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that he's not hitting the ball. He just isn't. He's not hitting for power, which is kind of the weird thing. That's why that OPS number is, or that WOBA and that OPS number is not as good as you would think.
Yeah.
Because if his, even when he's making hard contact, he's grounding. He's punching it right into the ground, or it's a line drive at like a -2 launch angle. That's the biggest place I think right now Ronald Acuna could improve, but I don't want to mess him up further
Yeah.
by trying to work on launch angle. Because
Agreed.
especially his role as a leadoff hitter, he if he is just able to reach base, that's a win.
Yeah.
So
Baldwin and Olsen and Ozzy sometimes behind him.
right. So just that I think Cunha will turn it around, and I think there's been signs that he will turn it around, so I'm not that worried about him.
Right. I think so too.
Austin Riley shown some good turnaround signs. He had a really good game or good series up in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of regressed a little bit in the Washington series, but he had a few big hits, and he had some big hits a few nights ago against Philadelphia in Atlanta. So I think that Austin Riley, the numbers are showing that this is kind of who he is this year, unless he
Yeah.
improves drastically. His bat speed is there, but nothing else is.
Yeah.
He is just an average player. which is not what you want for the highest paid player in franchise history,
Right.
but it's not going to negatively impact this team the way they're playing right
Yeah. Agreed.
now. But if you won't, I think that if or Acuna for that matter, but also Riley could get going, that this team can reach 2023 and beyond levels of greatness. Like I think that they could legitimately have one of just a really feared offense, and their pitching staff is significantly better than it was in 2023.
Yeah.
And that's without some of the guys you're expecting to come back coming back.
That's
So
right.
that's rolling with Martin Perez every 5 days. That's rolling with, guys like Jose Suarez in the bullpen. And as much as we get Alex Anthopoulos gets crap, he typically makes the right roster moves. To be said, Jose Suarez is still on this team, but I think it's very clear he is the worst pitcher on it, and there are guys in the minor leagues currently that are better than him. But I get why he's on this team. He gives you some length in
Yeah.
different situations. He can spot start for you if need be,
Mm-hmm.
and he is at the end of the day expendable. But his arm is made of rubber, so
Yeah.
go out there and pitch him for 6 innings out of the pen if you need to. It's not
Yeah.
advised because he's probably going to give up a lot of runs, but you can get some length out of it.
That's right.
And especially with Rysel going down, and then Dylan Dodd with that weird spinal injury that he's dealing with
Yeah.
going down, and I mean Dylan Lee right now on the paternity list. It gives you the options that I think that he'll be on this team for another week or so.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to be the Strider replacement. I don't think they're going to bring Strider up in place of Mr. Suarez, Jose, not Robert. And
We got to keep one of them.
I know Robert has to stay on this team, but I think that he'll be off the team relatively soon. Which
Yeah.
is not to say, like, I think he's done a valiant job considering what he was asked to do
Yeah.
and his skill level, but I think that either for Gwinnett would be a better place for him, or just I wouldn't be shocked if another team didn't sign him. I
Yeah.
think a team could pick him up, someone who's just not the best team in baseball, and say that the Braves are blessed with a crazy amount of pitching depth that most of it's homegrown.
That's right.
Or guys like Grant Holmes, where they have picked him up out of the trash bin and said, I think I can do something with this.
Yeah.
Or even Reynaldo Lopez, who was a all-star caliber reliever and that they've turned into a starter, kind of. He's actually in the pen now for Atlanta. But that leads me to my next question. And it's something I've talked about a lot in my recaps, but the Braves can see the writing on the wall. If there are no more injuries, there are 3 guys right now that are coming back in the next week or two. Dylan Lee, paternity list, so should be back probably for Friday's game in
Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah.
Rysel Iglesias can be activated, I think, in about a week
Yeah. I
ish,
think that's right.
15 days, so about a week. So he'll probably join the team in Seattle or Los Angeles, probably be on the road trip.
Yep.
And then Spencer Strider is has already been announced. It was announced today. There was a little bit of concern of like, well, is he going to make another rehab start? Who will it be with? Will he travel with Gwinnett? Will he go back and face Rome? Will he go down to Columbus and make a rehab start? Because there was a little bit of concern with his first major league start being against the Rockies, not because the Rockies are all that fearsome, but because Coors Field
Coors
was
Field effect. Yep.
weird, and you don't want to like subject that or his elbow or shoulder or anything to the cold up in Denver because it's still. I think it snowed there this morning, and you don't want to deal with elevation. Just maybe you send him and then you decide to give him like his first start back in Seattle or maybe even against the Dodgers. Maybe that's a better situation. The Braves said no. His next start will be a major league start.
Yeah.
And I assume just the way he lines up since he pitched yesterday or Sunday rather, 2 days ago, that will be against the Colorado Rockies since the three starters are already filled in for Atlanta in this Tigers series. So, who would you, with there being three guys on this 26-man roster, but just pitching wise, that have to go down after about a week, who are you deciding to keep? But who are those three guys that you are saying, cool, thank you very much, but have a nice day, either in Gwinnett or with another team?
It's a tough decision. I
It's not
mean,
what I envy because everyone I think has performed better than they expected
yeah.
or expected to perform.
Well, it's tough too because you cut one guy, you don't know what that does to the rhythm of the team, and I don't know. The one guy that stands out to me, other than Jose Suarez, is going to be Pyops. But again, he's a pin arm. He's not a starter. I don't know. Does Fuentes have any more options left? I'm not sure. Probably one or two.
Didier Fuentes, I will tell you how many options he has if you keep talking for a minute.
I don't know. I'm
Um,
just thinking. Go ahead.
I'm looking for Didier's how many options he has left, but thinking Dylan Lee, 1 for 1, that would be your Pyamps replacement
Yeah.
in that situation whenever he gets back. I do not think that Dylan Lee. I think Didier Fuentes will stay up after the Dylan Lee thing because Carlos Carrasco is on this roster right now.
I did forget about that.
And I just don't see a world where where they just keep yanking Didier between Gwinnett and Atlanta. I think that's not good for his development at all.
Mm-mm.
And I I think there is a question if Didier is ready to start for this team, which you may not need him to.
No.
That's a real. Martin Perez has overperformed in the 5 hole, and you dropped Reynaldo Lopez down to the bullpen. J.R. Ritchie is in the bullpen. So right now, or J.R. Ritchie is in the rotation. So right now, your rotation is Chris Sale, Cy Young, J.R. Ritchie, number 3 prospect in the organization,
Mm-hmm.
Grant Holmes, Martin Perez, Bryce Elder. None of those five, or one of those 5 guys, is a guy that you would like, okay, maybe I don't want this guy starting right now. And
Yeah.
it's Grant Holmes, who has
Yeah.
been really good. It's just some of the things that you see out of him make you think he would be a better reliever at the moment. Kind
Right.
of what you thought of Reynaldo.
Yeah.
So I would send Grant Holmes to the pen. I would keep Didier in the pen because he can provide you length. Reynaldo can provide you length. And so can Didier, Reynaldo, and Grant Holmes can all provide you length out of the bullpen. So that would eliminate the need for Jose Suarez, who has been your most used long reliever. You really haven't had to use very many this year. And when you do, typically they are back down in Gwinnett the next day because
Yeah.
Didier filled that role before. But the difference in between Jose Suarez and someone like a Grant Holmes or Reynaldo Lopez or a Didier Fuentes, especially Didier, I trust that they can go in against the middle of the lineup and go get 3 outs.
I do too.
I've seen them do it. And I don't think you can use Suarez in that same way.
Mm-mm.
So if those are the 3 guys that get sent down, so it would be sent down would be Carrasco, Payamps, and Jose Suarez.
Yeah.
This is what your lineup looks like after you add Dylan Lee, Raisel Iglesias, and Spencer Strider. Your rotation in this situation. Chris Sale 1, Spencer Strider 2, Bryce Elder 3, J.R. Ritchie 4, Martin Perez 5. Plays. Martin Perez, I mean, eventually this run is probably going to stop, but he was
Yeah.
an all-star in Texas a few years ago. I mean, this is not all that out of the ordinary for him. And I
Right.
mean, just a different style of pitcher than what you're used to seeing in this era. He
That's
locates
right.
better than what his stuff is. So
Yeah.
he just gets a lot of guys to roll over.
Yeah. He's what we
Valid,
thought Bryce Elder would be.
yes, and Bryce Elder has basically been that but better
That's right.
because he he went to the Greg Maddux School of Pitching.
Yeah.
And that would make your bullpen. So after you have Sales, Strider, Elder, Perez, Ritchie as your rotation, your bullpen, probably in terms of worst to best here, Aaron Bummer. Okay, I'm not going to do the worst to best thing the whole time through because that would be annoying. But Aaron Bummer, Didier Fuentes, Grant Holmes, Tyler Kinley, Reynaldo Lopez,
Dylan Lee.
Robert Suarez, Dylan Lee, Raisel Iglesias.
Pretty dang good.
You have to count on some of those guys to stay healthy,
Yeah.
but and there's going to be injuries. That's just the nature of
Yeah.
playing
Part of it.
162. But my goodness, what a pitcher!
Yeah.
And that's before
Yeah.
you add a guy like Waldrop or AJ Smith-Shawver, who should be back this year. We got an update on both
Mm-hmm.
Waldrop and Spencer Schwellenbach this year. Waldrop should begin his spring training ramp up here within about a week, and then we have a one last checkup for Spencer Schwellenbach before he can begin throwing. So they expect a return for Waldrop by the end of June ish, and then sometime in the second half of the season for Spencer Schwellenbach, which the way Atlanta is playing, and it's sustainable by all, they're actually underperforming their run differential, which is crazy.
That is nuts.
That the way they're playing, it might be an advantage for Spencer Schwellenbach to not be back until after the All-Star break because he can come back fresh.
That's right.
Like if you get Spencer Schwellenbach to come back at about say August 12th, and that
Mm-hmm.
gives you 6 weeks of ramp up at a major league level to find it, and then you make October, and you have Schwellenbach who's fresh, and then realistically, if you do get some guys to stay healthy, you might even start running a 6-man rotation. You could run even a 7-man rotation at times. There's
Yeah.
so much pitching depth.
Yeah.
And this is talking about guys in like Owen Murphy, who is the Braves, I think, #1 prospect, got called up to AAA today
I did
after
see
he
that.
performed admirably as a Columbus Clingstone. So I watched him 2 weeks ago, Wednesday. He threw, I think, 6 innings of one hit ball or one hit ball. I think the one hit, though, did manage to leave the yard. But
Part of it.
that's what it is. He's been really good. Cam Caminiti is starting to make his way through the Braves ranks. And then you have guys like John Carlos Lara. I'm not a gigantic fan of him, I'll be honest. Roldy Munoz, kind of the same way. Like
Yeah.
a lot of potential. But if you're talking about trade pieces at the deadline, I think Laura and Munoz are both really, really good trade bait.
Yeah.
Where the potential is there. You look at someone like Laura, I think it's 6'8", and he throws 102, but he just can't locate.
Hmm.
So it's one of those guys out of the pen that the Braves don't necessarily seem to value as much as other teams,
Yeah.
where they will give those guys opportunities to come up and maybe perform, but if they're not, they're going right back down. And I could definitely see Alex Anthopoulos if this team does have a need, or if they look like, even if they're unstoppable looking, that we're going to add at the deadline, and we may not have to add pitching.
Yeah.
We've got so much homegrown pitching that we can actually, for once, focus on the bats,
Yeah.
which has been kind of the issue with Atlanta is they've not been able to focus on the bats as much as you would want. So I don't know. There's it's really hard to not be positive about this team at the moment.
It's a very good problem to have.
Is there something you wanted to talk about with this team, like the way they were going to handle roster moves, pitching, hitting, anything you want to talk about?
I think we covered most of it. The I know I hate to be negative about a certain player, but Jose Suarez just can't stay with this team very much longer, in my opinion.
At least not in his current like form. Like he's got to
Yeah,
either go down to Gwinnett and improve, and maybe he's a guy who comes up in a double header type. He's your like 27th man. That's
yeah,
cool. Or if a guy, Lord forbid, gets injured for 15 days, he can come up and be that, give you some length. But he can't. I feel like he's holding much better arms back. And right now, with Didier Fuentes and J.R. Ritchie both up at the same time, I think there are three very clear, or at least two very clear guys to get the DFA. And then you have to take a look of, well, Joel Payamps, he's underperformed so far this year. He'd probably be the second worst guy out of the pen. But would you rather keep him and just use another one of Didier Fuentes' options? And I get where they're coming from, but I don't want to waste an option of one of your best pitchers because
uh-oh.
eventually, if you run out of options, then you might lose Didier Fuentes, and I don't want that to happen. So I think the Braves, everything is looking up
I'm
for
back.
them, and we will see if the Braves can manage their roster effectively. I do trust Alex Anthopoulos, but like I was mentioning before, Jonathan's internet went out.
It's bad, dude.
It's back. That the only thing that gives me pause is I can understand if they decide to keep Joel Payamps and they send Didier back. I don't like that he is the one getting yanked back and forth because I feel like if he was staying in Gwinnett, he would develop really well, or if he was staying in Atlanta, he would develop really well.
Yeah,
And I think that you're stunning his development a little bit, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I agree.
And I am worried about how many options he has left.
Yeah,
Because if you do bring him up, like say next year, and he goes through a bit of a rough stretch, well, you might be out of luck.
yeah,
Like you can't send him down to the minors because you'll lose him. Because I mean, a pitcher of his caliber, someone's going to snatch him up.
yeah,
Nobody clears waivers, or you just have to put up with the bad stretch, and he's got to
yeah,
learn on the job.
yeah.
I would like to see him stay up because I do think someone like a Joel Payamps might clear waivers.
I do too.
Versus Didier Fuentes.
Me too.
And I think Joel Payamps is more replaceable than Didier Fuentes.
Agreed.
And that'll be
All I,
another
all I know. Oh man. Yeah, it's a run. Very nice.
the Braves.
Um, yeah, I think from a perspective like that, the older guys in that bullpen are a little bit more expendable, just from a longevity standpoint for the Braves. I think that you got guys like the like the Jose Suarez and the Payamps type guys, where you don't feel as bad if another team picks them up if you designate them for assignment, or say they clear it and you can put them back in Gwinnett and they're there ready for you when you need them.
This is a guy, too. I mean, he pitched 26 innings, 26 and a third innings in 2025. Joel Payamps, I mean. He has
Yeah,
6.84 ERA. And then so far, in 7 and a third innings, he's got 8 strikeouts, 6.14 ERA. If I remember correctly, Payamps, if we just bring up his, I just bring up his normal stats. Do I have to? Yeah, standard. He was with two teams last year in 2025, and now I'm gonna have to pull up Baseball Reference because, um, I love baseball that you can find basically any stat you're looking for any split, but you're gonna have to look at multiple websites to get it.
yep, sounds
Um,
about like baseball.
so last year Joel Payamps comes to Atlanta after getting, I think he got DFA'd. I don't think he was traded
Mm.
from the Brewers. For the Brewers, he had a negative .6 WAR, and in 23 and 2/3 innings pitched, his ERA was a, where is your ERA? 7.23. But he had a 3.28 ERA or 3.38 ERA, but that was only over 2 and 2/3 innings with Atlanta.
Yeah.
But the Braves liked what they saw. So it is a very difficult thing to do for Joel Payamps. I understand why the Braves kept him. I do think the experiment is over. I
I do
don't
too.
think there's anything in his career that shows you, or at least in the last 4 years. He was good in 2023 and 2024 for Milwaukee, 2.55 ERA, 3.05 ERA. But last year, 6.84. A bad start to this season. His FIP is better than what his ERA is, but it's still a 5.72. So
Yeah.
not a really good or something that you would want to base on.
Right.
Interesting enough. And I'm going to pull up Jose Suarez here, who has been, I think everyone would agree, the worst reliever, at least in terms of his results for Atlanta this year. So he has a 5.87 ERA in 7 games for the Braves, and 15 and a third innings pitched, 19 strikeouts, a 196 whip. So not good there.
Mm-mm.
However, if you compare those statistics, and this is probably what is giving the Braves pause about not wanting to release Mr. Suarez. That FIP is only a 261.
It's not bad.
That's a very good FIP.
Yeah.
Like, because FIP, you just think about like ERA. The lower, the better, and fielding independent pitching. He
Yeah.
is getting very unlucky by
Yeah.
that number. So, Jose Suarez might be able to help you if that luck returns back to normal. The problem is the sample size that he's been given so far is very small. And so you should look more at the FIP and all that. But he's not going to get that much bigger of a sample size on this team where he is considered the 7th or 8th option at the pin.
That's right.
So it's a very difficult situation for Atlanta to be in.
Yeah.
Because you see the potential in Jose Suarez, you don't want to let him go because with that FIP, someone will probably pick him up.
Yeah.
And whether
Agreed.
that come out of the pin or to start, he can do either. It's a bad situation. I do think Payamps, on the other hand, though, I think Payamps is probably as good as gone.
I do too.
And so then your question becomes, well, would you rather Dylan Lee, or not Dylan Lee, would you rather to have Didier Fuentes out of the pen without nearly as much experience, or would you rather have Jose Suarez, who does not have the stuff that Didier Fuentes has, but he is the experience, he is crafty, and you think that he will return to an above average reliever based off of some of the under the hood numbers.
Yeah.
And it's very easy as a fan to chase the instant success, or we want something that's instant. We want what's really good right now.
Yeah.
And that is Didier Fuentes.
Yes.
It's so much fun to watch pitch. His stuff is unbelievable. But sometimes you have to take your medicine.
Yep.
And sometimes Didier, like that flashy thing, is not good for you in the long term. Or
Yeah.
it needs to marinate a little bit. I personally think Didier Fuentes is ready to be a everyday big leaguer. I think he has shown time and time again. He had that really bad inning in Washington, but he returned back and he gave you 2 innings of basically perfect baseball. His pitch
Mm-hmm.
count was high. He looked really good tonight against Detroit in 2 innings of work. So I think right now Didier is not a starter for the Atlanta Braves. But out of the pen, that fastball and then all the off-speed stuff off of it, even though it's not to the level he wants it to be at yet, will absolutely play. And he can
Agreed.
help out this team right now more than I think a Jose Suarez can.
I do too. The other
So,
thing too, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to keep him on just because he's a lefty, and maybe they were just trying to get through the Philly stretch with Harper and all those guys, Schwarber. But now that that's kind of over for a good little while, maybe you can kind of say, hey, maybe it's time. I don't know. Just a thought.
well, that's something interesting too. If we look at the active roster for the Braves and we just discount, we're just going to say that Elder, Richie, Sale, and Perez are, even though they said Perez could return to the bullpen, I think he should stay in the rotation, even at the expense of Grant Holmes,
Yeah, at least for
for the
now.
moment at least. I think it's really good to have guys who can do both and to have a lot of guys who can do both because then you don't have as much stress on your bullpen.
Right.
But Robert Suarez will stay. He's a righty. Piamps is a righty, so that would be getting rid of a righty if you
Mm-hmm.
get rid of Piamps. But Lopez, Suarez, both righties. Kinley's a righty. Didier Fuentes is a righty. And that would mean your only lefties are Aaron Bummer and
Dylan Lee.
Dylan Lee. So you just don't have the platoon matchups you would like to play. But I will note you're not playing a platoon matchup with Jose Suarez. That's just
Right.
not the game he's been playing this year.
That's right.
So I would rather just have the better overall player right
Agreed.
now.
I would too.
And let's just look. I'm going to look at the 40 man to just see who's healthy, who's a left-hander that could maybe come up. Hayden Harris, did he even get to pitch in his one day with the Braves this year?
I think he did. Maybe an inning. I
Let's
think
look.
so. I don't remember what game it was.
But Hayden Harris is a lefty. He could always help you. And
Is
then
Dodd coming back anytime soon?
Dylan Dodd, he's on the 15-day IL, but that injury was very odd. It was something to do with his spine. So I think the Braves are going to be very cautious with how they handle
Yeah.
him. But then, like, Joey Wentz is on the 60-day IL. Danny Young on the 60-day IL. I don't think either of those guys are really going to help you out that much.
Mm-mm.
So really, the only option out of AAA that might be coming to save you, who's not injured right now. What a play, Austin Riley. Oh, they're going to call him safe. But they like Hayden Harris maybe can come up and give you thing, but he's not a lefty who's going to blow you away.
Right.
He is a lefty who throws a lot of pitches in the zone and he locates and he does what he can with 94.
Yeah.
So whether or not that plays at the big league level is up to you. I understand not wanting to use him. I do think even if this like super pin or comes in handy or that's what you're using and you avoid a lot of injuries, the Braves should have two big trade deadline acquisitions or wants. They need a big bat in left field
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be Dubon and Yastrzemski platooning. After Hassan Kim's back, he made or was going to make his rehab start debut today until Columbus got rained out. And
Hadn't rained in 2 months, man. Had to rain today.
it is rain. We've had 3 rainouts in this is our 10th game. Um, so or 3 rain affected games. We'll say that.
Crazy.
And I think the Braves 100% like they need a big bat that can play the outfield
Yeah.
in left because you can't put Dom Smith in left.
Mm-mm.
And Dubon, I think as a utility man is fantastic. I don't know how sustainable his bat is right now. And
Yeah.
so I don't think you can be throwing Dubon out there every single day unless it's just to like rotate him around to give your regulars a day off.
Right.
And so I think you need a guy who doesn't need to platoon and can play left. Doesn't have to be a great defender, but needs to be able to play left decently and can hit for you. Like Yastrzemski, I think, is actually starting to turn a little bit of a corner here,
I think so too.
but I think you still want to upgrade. I think that's your clearest upgrade in terms of your position players is left field.
Call me crazy. What if we made a splash for Jordan Alvarez?
I knew you were going to say that. The Braves would have to trade the entire belt line
Yeah.
to get Ron Alvarez. Like,
You never know, man. I mean, you need a big bat. That's your
you
guy.
have to miss at least one of J.R. Ritchie or Didier Fuentes goodbye.
Yeah.
You would also need to give up. Man, you're going to make me look at the stupid prospect rankings.
I could see Ha-Seong Kim being a part of that deal.
The problem is he's only on a 1-year deal. So
Right.
the Astros are not out of it. That's not all that appealing to them as the Braves starting to allow some base runners here. Kenley getting hit around for the first time really all year. He's been very good.
Good play, Yastrzemski. Kept him
Yastrzemski's
at
only
third.
on a 1-year deal, so same thing. I mean,
Yep.
Cam Kennedy would be gone. Pick your poison between Ritchie and Fuentes. You would probably lose one of South Scene or Lodi's, depending on who you think who the Astros want more.
Yeah.
They would probably prefer Tate because he's already in A ball and he's only 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think Owen Murphy would also be gone in that deal. So that would take at least Kennedy. I would say the Braves would be more willing to give up Fuentes than Ritchie,
I think
even
so
though he
too.
is younger. And I think the I don't know. Didier Fuentes just feels like an Astros player. Like if you close your eyes and picture Didier Fuentes in an Astros cap,
Yeah, I could see it.
it works.
Yeah.
Lodi's, or Owen Murphy, and then someone like lower on the totem pole, maybe that's a Blake Burkhalter, a Drew Hackenberg. Like I mentioned, John Carlos Lara and Rody Munoz. I think those are two guys that the Astros could be interested in. You're talking at least six prospects and probably a major league guy as well.
What about Murphy? Sean Murphy in that deal?
Who is catching every day for the Astros right now?
I don't know. I'm just thinking because
Well,
I know Murphy's coming back from
Yadier,
injury.
um,
This is one of those trades you have to run by the MLB The Show trade analyzer.
this is one of those where it's like everyone. It feels like this is a very popular thing right now on Braves Twitter of going to go get Mr. Jordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
And I think that you get 3 years of Jordan.
Yeah.
So you would have to pay through the nose to get
Mm-hmm.
it. However, if you are in a contending window, and I think the Braves are, and I don't know how long this window is going to last, even though I think you have a decent chance of just flipping this contending window with you don't have a very deep prospect pool, but the ones that you are producing that get to the major leagues are absolutely killer. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and you don't have to replace it. The difference is the Braves have next to zero players who can actually make the major league roster as position players and make a difference right now.
Right.
Like if Lord forbid there was an injury to an Ozzy Albies, the next guy up is what, Nacho Alvarez?
Mm-hmm.
And Nacho just I don't think he's ever going to be a good big leaguer.
I don't either.
I hope I'm wrong. I like Nacho, but he doesn't feel like he's got much of a hope of ever really cracking this roster in Atlanta. And then you really have to look at you've got 3 positions of need.
Yeah.
And if we're just looking at who's tied down and who is making a lot of money, Baldwin good for the next 4 or 5 years. Matt
Mm-hmm.
Olson, Austin Riley both locked in. Acuna and Harris locked in for at least the next 3 years. Then you need a left fielder. I have hopes for the future that could be Isaiah Drake. I really like that kid.
Yeah.
He's in Augusta right now. And then I've mentioned before, I think Patrick Clohissy has a chance. He's with Columbus to do some good in the outfield. I think Columbus, if you look at Double A Columbus, they have about 5 or 6 outfielders that are all capable of playing at a major league level someday.
Yeah.
I don't think I've interviewed this kid, very nice guy, Kevin Kilpatrick
Yeah.
Jr. He had a bad year, or a bad year hitting the ball last year. He was hitting like 130 for most of the year, and he didn't hit his first home run until September. And
Hmm.
then I think he finished with 2. I think he already has 2 homers on the season. He's hitting, I think, 240, 250.
Okay.
And during that like September, something finally clicked for him. The difference is he is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder,
Yeah.
and it's actually kind of funny because the Braves have like orders to give certain guys reps in center field. He gets moved to like left or right, and he's very clearly a way better center fielder than he is a right fielder. So you've got like there are definitely guys I think that have the potential to make that leap, but there's not an instant like guy waiting in AAA who is ready to go next year.
Yeah.
And you need to fill in that shortstop spot. Jim Jarvis, I think, is going to make a really good case, at least in spring training next year, to be your shortstop for at least the next few seasons. And I mean, depending on how this year goes, you might just bring Hassan Kim back.
Yeah.
Ozzy Albies, his contract, I believe, expires after this year, or you may have one more option on him.
I think this was his club option year.
Yeah, I know this is one of his option years, so I didn't know if he had 2. But Ozzy, I don't know if that's a guy that you consider bringing out or bringing back, or if you just kind of let him walk while it's high. You get
Yeah.
like one last good year production out of him. A lot of his underlying numbers are not good, despite how well he started the season. So, but at the same time, it kind of depends on the price tag. Because if you can get Ozzy for 10 mil a year,
Probably worth
cool.
it. Yeah.
You can't beat that. Even as he's declining in his production, you've been paying him 5 mil for the best years of his career.
Right.
So go and do that. But if someone like the Angels, who are known to do this, go and offer him a $25 million a year deal to be their shortstop, or not their shortstop, their second baseman, you do not need to play in those waters. I get that he's a fan favorite. Ozzy Albies is my favorite Brave,
Yeah.
maybe ever.
Yeah.
Like he is up there with Chipper and Brian McCann for me.
Yeah.
But you can't go and overpay
No,
just
it's not
because
worth
you
it.
like. There are a few guys on this roster you do overpay to keep in the building, but so far the Braves have shown they are not willing to overpay for anyone, no matter who you are. Freddie Freeman, I don't care.
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson, go have fun in Chicago with your wife. Like right now, the only guys I would consider actually overpaying for is I wouldn't be opposed to giving Matt Olson an extension.
Agreed.
Drake Baldwin should be paid yesterday.
Yes.
And I would overpay slightly for Ronald Acuna to keep him on the team.
I would too. I think the fans would lose their mind if we lost him.
So, and it actually kind of sucks. The best thing for you is Acuna to just kind of play average for the
Yeah.
next 3 years.
I know it.
And then you just be like, hey, hometown discount?
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's
and I
okay.
almost wonder too, like the Lodi's thing. Oh, good hit, Olson. I almost wonder with like Alex Lodi's or Kyle. Um, I don't know. I think you've got potential with him, and again, it may take 3 or 4 years before he's really ready to go. But I don't know. I think he's one of the guys worth looking at, and then I think you got guys like say the Braves draft. It's gonna sound so hometown favorite team. Say they draft Drew Burress for the outfield. You know, he's a junior right now at Georgia Tech. I don't know if Ozzy.
Ozzy, I love him.
There you go, righty Ozzy too. Um, I don't know. I think you've got guys like that kind of young age guys that can really help the team. It just may take a little while to get going. you may have to find filler type guys, like you were saying. Extend Ozzy for a year for 10 million, and just like the buffer type players.
Well, I think the longest I would go on an Aussie deal is 3 years.
Yes,
I would go 3 years, 35 mil with with like a club option at the end, or two
yeah,
club options, or a mutual option and a club option, something like that. And the Braves are absolutely tearing him up, or tearing this pitcher up right now, Holton out of the bullpen.
gotta love it.
Um, but the problem with that is, by the time you have people to backfill those, like the buffer things of your top prospects, Acuna might have walked.
Hmm.
Matt Olson might be out of his prime. And then you're getting right there at the end of Drake Baldwin's rookie contract.
Yeah,
So,
money.
well, the Braves did announce today during an interview, I think this was president of the team, said they're making significantly more money from Braves Vision than they ever did from any
Yeah,
of their
I saw that.
RSN deals. So, money should not be an issue. I think if you really want a guy, you should be able to pay him.
Shouldn't be an issue, but then they go out and build new parking decks.
Well, you got to spend money to make money.
True.
But I do think it's a very. I think a Yordan Alvarez trade is an interesting acquisition. I don't think the Astros would let go of him.
I don't
I
either.
think I think that is the one guy they would not let go of. And
Yeah.
they've shown over the years they don't care who walks. But we can have an interesting discussion as we get a little closer. I think June is about the right time to start talking about trade deadline.
Agreed.
But I think you need a big bat in left field. And you can be, as long as you are not Jorge Soler out there. Well, Jorge Soler against Houston is fantastic. But as long as you're not Jorge Soler out there, just a big bat to lengthen this lineup even further.
Yeah.
And then you go out, and I think even if your pen is in really good shape, you're using a Didier Fuentes out of the pen. You've got Martin Perez and Reynaldo Lopez and Grant Holmes out of there, and Spencer Schwellenbach is healthy and returns as normal, and Waldrop's coming out of the pen, and
Yeah.
all of these fantastic things are happening. You have to go get a big lefty.
You do.
Dylan Lee cannot be the only guy in the playoffs. Like, say the Phillies rebound, and I fully expect them to.
Yeah.
They make the wild card, and you're facing them in Game 5 in Atlanta, and it's the 8th inning. And you're like, well, shoot, I can't pitch Iglesias against Harper and Schwarber.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use Suarez right now because I want to keep my options open. It's a tie game.
Right.
You don't want to have wasted Dylan Lee earlier in the game to get Suarez and Harper, or Schwarber and Harper out.
Yeah.
And then have to use Robert Suarez there in the 8th inning.
That's right.
In order to preserve the shutout whenever you want to keep him, just in case of Raisel Iglesias needs to come in and get the save, but oh no, here comes Harper.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go, Mr. Farmer.
That's what, his third or fourth hit with Atlanta? And,
I think so.
His batting average is actually really good.
Yeah, it is.
Opportunities.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I think the young pitching is a very good thing to rely on, especially for multiple years in the future here. I think, like you say, it's going to be interesting to see not only the roster moves that happen here the next week to a month or so, but I also wonder what's going to happen with the position players. You got guys like Dubon and Mateo. Maybe Mateo gets the boot.
I don't think so.
I don't either. I think you can't afford to have his speed not be a part of your team. I think if anybody gets cut, it's going to be Farmer.
I think Farmer is gone, and then you have the question of, well, if you're going to use Baldwin and Murphy as your two designated hitters, even as good as Dominic Smith has been, for the most part, like, you're going to let them platoon at catcher, and then if they're not pitching, like, Murphy might not get as many at bats, but Baldwin's going to be in the lineup every day.
Yes, as he should be.
Do you keep a third catcher? in
Heim.
the lineup? Do you keep Jonah Heim in this lineup at the expense of Eli White or Mr. or like Jorge Mateo? Mr. Jorge Mateo.
Yeah. Can Mateo play outfield or is he only middle infield?
I think he's only a middle infielder,
Okay.
but he's so fast. He has enough pop in his bat that like he's a guy you want to hold on to.
Yeah, I agree. No, I definitely agree. Well, and then you got Dubon who can play wherever you need him to. You got to have him on your team. I don't know. Maybe it is Heim.
I think it's Heim and Farmer.
Yeah.
And then just let fully healthy, quote unquote. This Braves lineup would be constructed of. Let me just pull up the lineup graphic tonight. Actually, I don't need to. I have I have game day pulled up. I want to just go there. We're so prepared. So the Braves today, their lineup. So if you go fully healthy here, and that's Acuna, Drake Baldwin catching, Matt Olson at first, Ozzy Albies at second, Michael Harris the second in center field, Austin Riley at third, Sean Murphy designated hitting. Though I do think against a righty, I think you would go Dom Smith. Sean Murphy gets the play against a lefty for designated hitting, and then Baldwin trumps both of them. So Baldwin, any day that he's not catching, he's in the lineup as your designated hitter.
Yeah.
Ha-Sung Kim at shortstop, and then either Yastrzemski or Dubon in the lineup, depending on if it's a lefty or a righty. Starting in left, and then some days against a righty, you would see Mauricio Dubon move around, give Michael Harris a day off, give Ronald Acuna a day
Yeah.
off his feet, give Ozzy a day off his feet or a day off, give Riley
Yeah.
a day off. So, because I think he can play everywhere on the diamond except for pitcher or catcher.
Yeah.
And if the Braves ever have a game that gets out of hand, he might pitch. So
He might. He's this year's David Fletcher.
he is everywhere.
Yeah.
And then if you, as good as that lineup sounds, if you then add a big left-handed bat, and I don't know, or well, I guess it'd be a big right-handed bat, because Yastrzemski would still be your best bet off the bench to hit a righty.
Mm-hmm. Well, or Dom Smith.
Or Dom Smith is against a, yeah, so it makes Yastrzemski very expendable in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Dom Smith is a better, that, and then you have Eli White, who can be a defender, and Dubon, who can be a defender.
Yeah.
In the outfield, you go get I don't think it's even realistic to talk about a Yordan Alvarez trade, but you do go get a guy who's an all-star caliber pitcher in Yordan Alvarez, or not pitcher, hitter, or just a guy who's having a really good year.
Yeah.
They're both whatever in the world's going on with Aaron Bummer right now.
Pitchcom.
Pitchcom. For a minute, I thought sticky stuff.
Yeah, I know it. The umpire was out there. I was like, oh no.
I don't have enough stuff to be worried about sticky stuff. But I think that is I think that's a very formidable lineup, no matter who you face in
Agreed.
the playoffs.
Agreed.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I want to say this. I think we need to go to a 6-man rotation once everybody's back, in the next week or two. I think guys like Sale, I think some of the older guys in the lineup are going to really benefit from having that extra day of rest on that pitching staff. And with the Braves record the way they're playing right now, they can afford to do that. So I think that going to a 6-man, I mean, do you even consider maybe even going to a 7-man? I know it's probably not very likely, but I don't know. I'm just thinking you got guys that can do it. Huh?
Who all would that be?
Maybe you let Richie start again. Maybe
Richie would be in a 5-man rotation.
Yes. I agree. Well,
Grant Holmes in the rotation.
Yeah, maybe him. Maybe even Lopez comes back once he gets going back in the bullpen for a little while.
I mean, you got 10 good starting pitchers.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult problem, but it's a very good problem to have.
Yes. I think it's a very good thing, like you said. I don't know. I think the 6-man's a lot more likely. And I bet the Braves will do it. If I had to make a very educated guess, I think they'll do it.
I wouldn't be shocked if they do a 5-man plus a bullpen game.
Yeah, that's true.
But that bullpen game is a guy who can start, who is a normal starting pitcher, and they just play the matchups.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, cool. Didier Fuentes is coming out of the pen today. He's going to give us 4, and then we're going to rely on our, the second best bullpen in baseball.
Yes.
To get us 5 innings.
Agreed.
Or, cool, you struggle against a certain type of pitcher, or you struggle against a certain guy. Cool. Here comes Aaron Bummer is actually going to start the game for us, give you an inning to neutralize your top 3, and then we're going to go to a Grant Holmes or a Ronaldo Lopez or something for some length on the back end.
He's going to pull a Dylan Lee 2021 World Series.
So I think that the Braves have so many options, and they're all good, and none of them are named Hurston Waldrop or Spencer Schwellenbach right now.
Isn't that crazy?
And that's insane. And
crazy.
I think the Braves would be better. I think the Braves can spend the time to stretch Hurston Waldrop out all the way.
Yeah.
I do think he might be a better asset out of the pen to start. And then you can have this discussion next year of Sale for sure, but then Richie, Strider, Fuentes, Waldrop, Schwellenbach. And those are your 6.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Maybe you even trade one of those guys in the offseason because you just have the...
You have the capability, yeah.
So...
Agreed. It's a very good thing. Very good problem to have.
So, but I think right now, Schwellenbach is the only guy that's actively coming back that I think you 100% have to have in the rotation.
Yes.
I think everybody else profiles really well as a bullpen arm.
Yeah.
And I think about when the Braves were just beginning to let Max Fried begin his major league career, he started a full year out of the bullpen.
Uh-huh.
So I think that could do someone like Didier Fuentes a lot of good.
I do too.
His question is going to be, is he going to give up home runs? And is he going to walk a lot of people? And you can find both of those things out, and he can learn at a major league level out of the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And there are enough good relievers that if he's your 5th option out of the pen, and he's not handling the most high leverage, but you can give him some medium leverage, and on some nights you can give him some high leverage. He opens up an option for you. He gets to learn, but he's not in a situation where he has to go out and give you 5 innings.
That's right.
So, and J.R. Ritchie, I think, is a different type of pitcher. Braves win. And that he doesn't work out of the pen in the same way that a guy like Fuentes does.
I agree.
But I think that just about does it for tonight's episode. We talked for a long time.
We did. It's been a while since we had a podcast.
It really has. Our schedules have just not worked out. But I'll try to have this up before the end of the Tigers series.
There you go.
But thank you all for watching. And that's Jonathan. I'm Cayden. I hope you enjoyed your time here at Section 329.